by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. By Jack in the Box. It's back, the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. We are in Seattle, first of three as we open up the second half. The Astros at 48 and 41 as we open it up at Safeco Field. The Astros are 6-4 in 10 previous games against the Mariners this year. And George Springer will get it started against hard-throwing left-hander James Paxton as that first pitch misses. The Astros are in second place. The Texas Rangers have already lost today, beaten by the Chicago Cubs, so the Astros are 5 back. Seattle 3 games back of Houston. 1-1 the count on George. See the numbers on George. Very good first half. Great defense played by the right fielder. Let's take a look now at the Astros lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Quickly through it. We will see Springer, Marwin Gonzalez and Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Carlos Gomez, and Luis Valbuena. And the bottom three, Evan Gattis, Jake Marisnick, and Jason Castro. It's a 2-2 count on George Springer. The Astros continue, as we talked about on the pregame, to play great baseball since that May 23rd point. Drive to right field and deep. Back at the wall. See ya. George Springer starts the second half in grand fashion. 1-0 Houston on home run for George Springer, number 20.
That's an electric start to the second half. George Springer showing up early. Houston fans did a great job of trying to get him into that All-Star game with that final vote. But right here, in case you were wondering, George Springer is still swinging a pretty healthy bat. Home run number 20 on the season for George. And again, that pop goes to all fields.
And we've seen this from George. It's not something brand new. But is that a great looking sight in game number 90? That'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez, playing at first base this evening. 0 for his last 5. That guy can take a team, and there are others on this ball club that can do it, but take a team, put him on his back, and make it ride for a while. Ball and a strike on Marwin. Not a bad way to start against a good Seattle club, a team that, based on the run differential, could be 5 games better than they are in the standings. Mariners start the day at 45 and 44. And their run differential says that they could be 50-game winners right now. Scott Servais in his first year of managing their club. Got a very nice presence about him. Marwin gets a piece, stays alive. 1-2 the count.
Take a look at James Paxton's numbers on the season. This is only his second career start against the Astros. In that previous start, he went 7 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. See, he averages 97 miles an hour on that fastball, and that pitch that Marwin is swinging over the top of at 91 is the slider from James Paxton. How about Paxton's last start against Kansas City? 8 innings, 78 pitches.
I think there must be a typo there, Plummer.
And that was an excessive 8th inning to get to those 78. He came into that inning and had a chance to get out of there with about 60 pitches.
It's one of those arms that you would just love to have on your club. As Marwin grounds out to short, first out here in the first inning. It'll bring up Jose Altuve. But when you get a guy that throws that hard, I think Seattle must believe they've got a guy who can win a bunch of games. But having a game like that where you're averaging less than 10 pitches per inning,
yeah, that was ridiculous.
Hard to do.
It was amazing. And he had a chance at a double play late in that game to get out of that 8th inning.
That he had a chance to start himself. One of those pitchers apparently that doesn't have great confidence throwing to the bases. Jose Altuve played in the All-Star game, 0 for 3. and committed an error, and those errors have been very rare. Slider finds the outside edge. And you mentioned the number 91 right there, 90 on the slider. You get a guy that goes 90 plus on a slider. Extremely rare around the big leagues. The 2 now, the count on Jose.
Big breaking ball, too, to go with it. I would imagine if you're a pitcher that pumps 97 miles an hour consistently and you have that slider breaking ball combination, you should have a little bit of confidence on a mound.
Paxton is from British Columbia, Canada. 2-2 the count on Jose. It's a guy you want to see get hot once again. Jose Altuve has had his struggles in recent games. Where struggles for Altuve means he only got a couple of infield hits on the night. Leads the league in hits. Down on strikes as they will record the out down at first base. 2-3 to put him out. Couple of outs here in the inning. First strikeout for Paxton will bring up the cleanup man, Carlos Correa. For Correa, the first half saw him hit .260, 14 home runs, leads the club in RBIs at 55. So he's well on his way with the pace to get to 100 plus RBIs this year. Altuve's at 51. And George Springer adds one to get to 52 here this evening. Nice when you can have that leadoff man like George Springer, like Jose Altuve earlier in the year hit that leadoff home run. Carlos with a 1-1 count. Hits it sharply to third. Good defensive player there. Seager makes the play, and that'll do it for the Astros. They get the leadoff home run from George Springer, his 20th on the year, and they take a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the first. The top of the first inning. We go to the Mariners half of the inning. And for Seattle, it'll be Ketel Marte, their young shortstop, followed by Seth Smith and Robinson Cano, who had a big first half. Middle three, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, and Dae-Ho Lee. A lot of power there. The bottom three, Adam Lind, Chris Iannetta, and Leonis Martin. As Doug Fister gets underway, finds the strike zone out in front, 0-1. Yeah, Doug Fister, as Jeff Blum was saying, kind of taking over as that leader on the Astros staff in the first half. '18th start on the year, .355 the ERA. 32 years of age now for Doug. 1-2 the count on Marte. For Doug Fister, his 8th year in the major leagues, 73 and 69 overall, and a lifetime ERA at 3.44, so he's done very well. Not the power guy on the hill. He's allowed just 96 hits in over 106 innings this year. And gets a strikeout of Marte to start the night. Out recorded down at first base. So 1 down for these Mariners.
Good job by Doug. Leading off against Ketel Marte. Good changeup down in the zone. Fister works fast, likes to work both sides of the plate with that sinking fastball. We've even seen him give into that Brent Strom mentality of pitching up in the zone, but in doing that, he has also made his curveball that much more effective. He is not going to blow up the radar. He is the slowest average fastball velocity this season. Weaver doesn't qualify because he has yet to throw 500 fastballs.
There's that sinker in the upper part of the strike zone at 87. 0-1 the count on the 2-hitter, Seth Smith.
And for those wondering, Doug Fister averages 86.6 miles an hour on that fastball.
Comes with a changeup and misses. Ball and a strike. Seth Smith showed a lot of pop in the end portion of the first half of the season. 11 dingers on the year. One of those home runs, a big one at Houston recently, as the Astros swept the Mariners away in 3 games. They've won 4 consecutive against Seattle and against 6 and 4 on the season. And the Astros had that recent 4-game set that looked like could be a rough time, but they found a way to come back, take a couple of games. It's a club that seems to be finding a way now after that first rough month on the season. A.J. Hinch has the guys playing really the best ball around the major leagues currently. That 3-game set I was talking about against the Oakland A's. I think they had a 4-game set. They went 2-2 in the series. There's a ball hit in the air to right field on a line. Springer able to get there quickly and make the play. 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the first inning. There's the guy that has been making a lot happen recently, and part of that Oakland series to help the Astros split it at 2 games apiece.
You know what was fun to watch was BP today. He was getting on top of pitches and literally hitting line drives over the third baseman's head. And being a left-handed hitter, that tells me that Valbuena is trying to let that ball travel a little bit, get on top, drive through it. I think that leads to good things when you're changing that mentality up the middle to that opposite field gap.
So we've seen him in spring training work that way toward left field, and when you see that, you start to anticipate maybe a big batting average, maybe some doubles down the line, maybe to the gap, but he maintains that power stroke to right field throughout the game.
And I think that mentality of sitting on the pitch away and trying to drive the fastball, particularly away, allows him to hit some of those mistakes into those right field bleachers because he's letting the ball come to him, seeing it a little bit longer. He's got quick enough hands.
Had such a rough start to the season, and maybe as much as anybody, the reason the Astros scuffled early on.
It's 183 in April.
Hard to believe. 7 and 17 in that first month on the year for the Astros. And yet they've found that way. Unusual to get there, but 48 and 41, high water mark, 7 games over 500. Line to left field. That freezes Marisnick. He gets back to make the play, and that'll do it. A couple of balls hit pretty well, but a 1-2-3 inning turned in by Doug Fister.
Valbuena with 3 home runs versus the Seattle Mariners this season. We talked about it, a couple of big ones back there at home to help. My gosh, just a hanging changeup. That's what I'm talking about. You get that hanging off speed pitch when you're thinking going the other way, you're able to get the barrel out on that. But right there was some heat from Taijuan Walker on July 6th, and he just hammered it halfway up that second deck in right field. The pop is coming back, little shimmy's back with him too. He's feeling pretty good. OPS is 940 in June.
Have not been meaningless home runs either. Carlos Gomez starts the second inning. Waves on the slider. 0-1 the count. Carlos hitting .217. But you keep in mind that's come a long ways from his start to the year. Off speed for a strike. 0-2. Snapped an 0 for 15 with a base hit in Sunday's game. So even with that bat coming to life here in the latter stages of the first half, still struggled as he headed toward the All-Star break. Paxton brings the 0-2. Fastball hit sharply on a line to third. And that's part of the bad luck been hit into recently by Carlos Gomez.
That ball was smoked, and it looks like the Astro hitters are ready for that fastball. Did a good job of fouling off a breaking ball. The pitch before just kind of forced Paxton to get back to that heater, and Carlos Gomez was ready for it.
On the recent homestand, he hit probably a handful of line drives right at people. So not hitting in real good luck. A guy who hasn't needed a whole lot of luck. Luis Valbuena at the plate takes a strike. He's hit in 7 straight. Fastball just misses away.
Interesting number on Luis Valbuena also is that he's hitting .283 off left-handers.
That is an interesting number. Hits one in the air and deep to left field. Back toward the track goes Smith onto the track to make the play. So Valbuena hits it a long way, out number 2 here in the second. It'll bring up Evan Gattis.
Not an easy play, slicing away off that left-handed bat.
Evan Gattis, the DH this evening, 13 dingers on his year. The batting average has struggled at .215, but he's been driving in runs for the club. Had a big hit in that final game against Oakland. He snapped an 0 for 11 with a single down the left field side. Actually, that hit late in the game was a double. The RBI double came with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the Astros eventually won that game after Gattis tied the game. Also picked up his first career stolen base. The guy who was the triples machine a year ago. Takes the pitch in the dirt. 2-2 the count. In fact, prior to that stolen base on Sunday, he was one of 3 major league players in history with 12 career triples and no stolen bases. Gary Pettis on the move down at third base. The coaching side used to do it very well defensively, and now he simply knows, get yourself out of the way.
Well, you got to know your abilities too.
Yeah, you got to, and that's the thing about Gary Pettis. He's known him for a long time. Gets slowly to short. Marte with the play, and that'll do it. A 1-2-3 second. Through 1.5, the Astros lead it 1-0.
will have the biggest breakout in the second half. Keuchel, Castro, Carlos Gomez, or Ken Giles, who I spoke about earlier before the game. Please vote at Root Sports SW on the Twitter page. We'll tell you who wins later.
Thanks a lot, Julia. Good to have Julia Morales back. She took a little road trip of her own over the All-Star break over to Japan. Nelson Cruz leads off for the M's here in the second inning. Cruz, Seager, and Dae-Ho Lee. They have some pop in the heart of this order. So have some pain going on with their cleanup man.
Took an early trip to the barbecue, gave himself a shin burger.
Yeah, barbecues are supposed to be over now.
Oh, man. You know what that's going to feel like the rest of the day? Like you have an ankle weight on that left ankle. Or the foot. My gosh, right off the top. You know, I do miss playing the game, but then I see things like this, and I really don't miss that part of it.
You'd get back down there in a heartbeat if you could, right?
Oh, and then I'd do that, and I'd be down there doing the fish. Screaming, get me out of here.
12th year in the big leagues for Nelson Cruz. I wonder how many times he has done that. That's the thing. Once you do it a number of times, it just becomes such a problem.
Isn't that the truth? It feels like you do it one time, you just constantly beat on that one spot.
And then you put the shin guard on and you find a way to find another spot just a quarter of an inch off. Scott Servais knows all about it. 264 career home runs for Nelson Cruz. Right now he can't remember a one of them. And there's Edgar Martinez. He was so good they've named streets after him here.
How is that for your job security? Can you fire a guy that is on your staff and has a street named after
So
him?
you want to get to the stadium, go to Edgar Martinez Drive, and yeah, that probably says you have some some security, right? 0-2 the count on Cruz. Sit in 4 straight. He's also crushed 23 home runs, 58 RBIs. He's had quite a career. It's his second season now with Seattle. In 2014 played with Baltimore, and he led the American League in home runs with 40 that year. 4-time All-Star. Hits it sharply to third. Valbuena to a knee. And that accurate arm gets his man first out here in the second inning. And back down to Julia.
Thanks, Ash. As we watch Doug Fister here, you know, he had that great start right before the break, but we saw a not as good Doug Fister in starts before that, just heading into the break. And for him, that curveball that Bulmer was talking about earlier, he just really got away from it in those last few starts. So that's something he's going to try to incorporate a little bit more, especially against all these lefties in this Mariners lineup. Another thing that will be key for him today, arm side fastball command. That's going to be huge.
Brent Strom, who you just saw, has had knee surgery over the All-Star break. We're not sure if we're going to see him going out to the mound or if there's going to be cards being flashed like the NFL from the sidelines. Not sure.
Drones.
That's one of the words we heard, right?
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Drones out to the mound. Line drive to left field, dropping in front of Marisnick. One out single for Kyle Seager, who's now hit in 14 straight, longest around the major leagues currently.
First hit on the evening for the Seattle Mariners. Just a good piece of hitting, too. A couple lefties that we've seen have really tried to go that way with Doug Fister, and I think it's a good idea with that running fastball to the arm side.
You know, when you talk great third baseman around the major leagues, you don't often hear the name Kyle Seager, but he's got the tools defensively and offensively to be in that conversation.
His little brother's making a name for himself, too.
Is he ever? Already on the National League All-Star squad. Dae-Ho Lee, a powerful right-hand hitting first baseman.
Going with the White Shoes Johnson approach.
Billy White Shoes, huh?
Man, barely noticed.
I thought you had to wear uniform shoes. Maybe.
I think that rule has become extremely lenient.
Is that right? See, Adam Lind on deck also has some white ground grabbers on. It's a ball and a strike. Dae-Ho Lee has shown the Astros great power the other way. Not a kid. He's 34 years of age.
He's got one of the better nicknames in all of baseball.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. Go ahead.
Pig Tiger.
You got to have a Pig Tiger manning first base, right?
Are Pig Tigers angry? Are they aggressive?
I don't
what
know.
do we got?
He's also the big boy, so I think Pig Tiger kind of fits better, doesn't it?
Best of both worlds.
2-2 the count. Doug Fister working with one out here in the second inning. Pig Tiger is a mere 250 pounds, at least that's what they list him at. Out of South Korea. And a big swing and a miss. So Fister gets his man. Second strikeout. 2 down here in the inning.
I think that is a great location with that sinker. Down and in. Castro set up in there, but he's got good run. That's that side of the plate Julia was just talking about, that arm side part of the plate. It's away to left-handers, into right-handers, and he's got good movement.
2 outs. It brings up Adam Lind. Lind is the DH. There's a big swing as he fouls one back. And Adam Lind has been around the game. He's also one of those guys who can really drive the baseball. 13 dingers on the year. Although the batting average is down for Lind. Silver Slugger winner as a DH back in 2009. That with the Toronto Blue Jays. Hit 35 home runs that year and drove in 114. Just 21 home runs shy now of 200 on his career. In fact, he had such a good year that year with Toronto. He was 15th in the MVP voting. 2-1 the count. The on-base percentage this year, it's kind of a struggling figure at .261. Three and one the count now. Good hitters count for Lind. Chris Iannetta, the catcher, waits on deck. Lind hit 20 home runs last year in his only season with Milwaukee. Seager is not a base stealer, but a guy that will occasionally run. 2 outs and a 3-1 count. Big swing by Lind. So that now officially will put Seager on the move. Marwin Gonzalez will play behind. There we go. Marwin right behind in that position where it's tough as a runner to get much of a jump. Lind on the off speed, waving out in front, and that'll do it. A couple of strikeouts in the inning, 3 on the night for Doug Fister. Seattle gets a hit and leaves a man. We played 2 with the Astros leading on the Springer home run.
into the final stages of the season. So I don't feel any different than I do last year, because again, I don't look too far ahead of what's out there. But I like our team, and I like our chances, and I like the vibe that we've been able to compete with for the last couple of months, so that it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and why shouldn't he? 31-13 since May 23rd, best record in the major leagues in that time frame. Jake Marisnick leads off for the Astros here in the third inning. We go back to the first. Leadoff man George Springer launched one the other way. His 20th on the year, and the Astros hold that 1-0 lead. Some of the boys talking about their experience in facing James Paxton. Line drive right on back up the middle. Jake Marisnick trying to heat it up here now as the Astros get into the second half. Again, game number 90 tonight.
Yikes. Good swing by Jake, not trying to get too big on that pitch, just going right back up the middle. Tell you what, that'd be a great sign if he could get hot, start swinging that bat, get his speed on the base pass, get him in there a little more regularly against left-handers.
Playing time is going to be tougher and tougher to get for a few guys here in the second half. And so you're going to have to earn your time. So Marisnick aboard, the speed at first base, Jason Castro at the plate. And this has got to be one of those tough at-bats when you're struggling already, hitting just .210 for Jason. And now you face the hard-throwing left-hander, James Paxton. Oh, and 1 the count. We've talked about that fastball averaging 97 plus this year. Paxton can bring it, but we've also seen a lot of sliders. Shift on for Castro. Line drive finds left field, just out of the reach of the third baseman Seager. So Castro in a tough at bat against the left-hander Paxton comes up with a base hit. Back-to-back hits as the Astros have runners at first and second. We check in with Julia once again.
Thanks, Ash. 2016 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies membership are on sale now for only $25. Buddies members receive a voucher for 4 tickets to a select game, front of the line access to Kids Run the Bases, exclusive player autograph sessions, and more. Visit astros.com/buddies for all the details and to purchase a membership for kids up to 12 years old. Oh, he's a cutie.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to be his buddy? Kid knows what he's doing.
That backpack was bigger than he was.
Thanks a lot, Julia. 2 men aboard for Springer, who hit number 20 in the first inning. Hits it sharply to short. Marte can't come up with it cleanly and only able to get an out at second base. As Castro is erased, runners now at first and third. 1 out, and Marwin Gonzalez coming to the plate.
Ball hit pretty well off the bat of George Springer. Kind of got that in between hop and hit Marte in that heel. Good job of recovering. Make sure they get that second runner in Jason Castro. Keep that double play in order.
The Astros with an opportunity to add to this 1-0 lead. Marwin grounded to short in the first inning. Seattle will play for a pair at short and second. Marisnick the runner at third. Springer at first base as Marwin takes a strike. Over the last 35 games for Marwin, he has hit .282, 12 RBIs in that span. He's made 60 starts on the season coming in. Spread them all around first base, third, short, second, and in left field a couple of times, starting in left field this year. For Marwin Gonzalez tonight, started first base the 15th time this year he has started at first. And he was the first American League player this year to make a start at all of the infield positions. One of those guys that's hard to keep out of there against the left-handers. Hitting .275 and 800 OPS against the lefties since 2015. The Seattle Mariners have seen a Marwin Gonzalez that leaves them with no guessing as to why he's in the lineup. He's hit .308 against Seattle in 48 career games. 9 home runs included. Chops one to third. Seager will try to start a double play. Cano will finish it. 5-4-3, and just like that, James Paxton and the Seattle Mariners get out of the 3rd inning. So the Astros get a couple of hits to start the inning, can't make it happen. It's still 1-0 Houston.
The break last year, and then the final standings in the AL West coming up. So this was last year. Half game behind the Angels. Final standings getting the Astros into that wild card situation. Texas Rangers got on a great run. So the possibilities are endless going into this second half of the season.
And those possibilities jump-started by the Rangers being beaten today 6-0 at the hands of the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley. The Rangers continue their struggles. The Astros try to keep the winning ways going.
Did you hear what happened to Jake Diekman out of that Rangers bullpen?
I know he was injured here recently.
There's a laceration on his hand, left hand, I believe. Reaching into his suitcase and grabbed a broken Cheers mug from Boston.
Well, who hasn't had that happen?
I don't know. Sparky's going to be pretty happy that somebody's going to go on that list of odd injuries.
After his tearing the phone book injury.
Dislocated a shoulder, Sparky did.
Ground ball slowly hit. Valbuena will cross in front and make the play as he gets Chris Iannetta. And Iannetta has had his scuffles recently. That's now 0 for 14 for the Seattle catcher. That's a guy that the Texas Rangers, in my book, they absolutely need his arm.
And he was just a throw-in type guy for that Cole Hamels deal that came over, but he has been a phenomenal setup guy.
He's that left-hander that I would imagine every left-hand hitter just fears to have to face, and for that matter, even the right-handers. Leonis Martin, the center fielder, takes the ball. Martin has shown some pop this year, 11 home runs, while hitting just .243. It's Doug Fister finding the inside edge. Nice play by Doug Fister. And able to get that second out of the inning. A couple of ground ball outs. And back to the top of the order with Ketel Marte.
Nice pick by the big man. When you throw in the sinker all your career, you're kind of ready for these situations with that ball going back up the middle. Might have saved himself a base runner.
Marte takes a strike at the knees. Doug Fister pumping strikes here this evening. That rotation will include Lance McCullers going tomorrow against Hisashi Iwakuma. Take note, that's a 3:10 start tomorrow. Same time start on Sunday as Colin McHugh goes up against TBA for the Mariners. Hit to center field and hit hard. Gomez going back and can't get there. Marte around second. He will not stop there. 3 bags. Yes, just barely safe. As that throw came in very accurately from Gomez. 2-out triple for Marte.
Marte a little stunned on that tag to the head too, asking for the trainers to come out. I'm not sure if it's a leg issue. This ball smoked. Sinker that just flattens out over the middle of the plate. Ketel Marte's had some pretty good games. Again, we see Gomez getting beat over his head, playing some of these leadoff guys. Oh, that might be a little bit of a groin. That slide, that lead knee that he went down on, that slide stuck. But you see that ball jumping up.
You know, back on that ball over Gomez's head, and we've seen at least a few of those here recently. The route, as the umpires now are going to review this, turned out very close at third base, but the route sees Gomez going to the side and then back in the end, and we've seen that a few times.
Yeah, we talk about fundamentals all the time, and I played at maybe 20 or 30 games in the outfield, and I was a little paranoid, so my first step was always back, just out of panic. I didn't want the ball to get over my head. But I think that is a standard fundamental for the outfield, is to run backwards. Not run back. Got him.
They have called him out at third base.
We'll talk about this later.
So
how about it?
AJ Hinch and company are able to get a big out right there of Ketel Marte. It'll go as a double, and then 8-5 to get the out at third base. So the replay comes into play and turns out to be a very nice one for the Houston Astros. That'll do it. We go to the 4th inning, 1-0. Houston on top of the Seattle Mariners. And there you see it. Carlos Gomez once again as we watch the very end.
Yeah, clearly there's space in between that lead foot and the base when that tag was put on by Valbuena. They're still wondering. This is live right now, so Marte is still having issues. And as he was going into that slide, that left knee kind of stuck. Might have stretched that groin out a little bit, trying to reach for the bag with that lead right foot. But he is not happy, and he is coming out of this game.
Yeah, Scott Service, the skipper for Seattle, has come out and says that's enough. So That's a big cog for the Seattle Mariners, Ketel Marte. And if this injury happens to be bad enough, the Astros could miss him in the series. We'll see how that all works out. But no, they'll turn to their super sub infielder. Sean O'Malley will take over now at shortstop. It's a big man for Seattle to miss. And the Mariners start the day 3 games back of Houston. Started the day 8.5 back of Texas, but they're like the Astros, picking up already a half a game on Texas. So O'Malley's at shortstop. Carlos Gomez on that play. We were talking about it. Watch the route.
Actually, in looking at it, was playing relatively deep. Just went straight across like you were talking about, Ash. And that ball just miscalculated how well it was hit, but you got to give him credit for not giving up on that play and making a strong throw to third.
You could see Luis Valbuena right away letting AJ Hinch, the bench, know that maybe he felt the call could go the other way, and it did eventually. Carlos Gomez has a great throwing arm.
That's the best throw I've ever seen him make.
Altuve lines one just out of the reach of Robinson Cano, so maybe that can get Altuve loosened up once again. He's 1 for 2 on the night.
He's not afraid to go out there and get hits in bunches.
I think what my eye has seen on Carlos Gomez, though, in center field is that down and out kind of a, or the out and end zone kind of a route. Altuve again swinging that bat.
Were you able to hit the out and up when you were a quarterback?
The out and up. Well, we could all hit it if we had a great receiver, right? You're as good as your receiver.
Great receiver will make you look good.
You can always come back on a ball, right?
Should he be putting that pine tar on the inside of the helmet?
Keep that thing on the head. Leadoff single Altuve. He's aboard as Carlos Correa stands in.
Keeps your helmet on, and it also acts as hair product. I might have to try that.
I'm not sure that's the best of hair products, but I'll take your word for it for the moment.
It is a little tough to wash out.
Mid-game, however, not really a factor.
Yeah, that's the least of your worries.
Correa hits one sharply. Seager at third can only knock it down. It'll be an infield single. Altuve stopping at second, and that ball was busted.
Yeah, you talked about how good Seager is on defense. Just the ability to be able to knock this ball down saves them possibly a run with Altuve at first base, who could score easily from first. But this ball was smoked. One hop. If it wasn't hit so hard, Seager probably comes up with that. I just think the energy on that baseball forced its way out of Seager's glove.
You know, it looked like Seager thought he had caught the baseball. Reached in there to try to make a throw, and it wasn't in the glove. Couple of hits to start the inning. Good speed aboard Altuve and Correa as Gomez shows bunt and then chops one foul. Carlos Gomez stung it as he lined out to start the second inning.
Going Butcher Boy with runners in scoring position, huh?
Showing bunt, hacking a little bit. Ground ball to third. Seager tries to start another double play, and they get it easily. When you've got Cano turning it at second base, pretty good shot. Second double play of the night turned by Seattle, and now 2 outs and Altuve at third base.
Follow Astros Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Keep an eye on box scores and highlights even while you're at the game with Minute Maid's new Wi-Fi. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet.
The Astros had a couple of hits to start the third inning, Merznick and Castro, and they couldn't score. Big double play hit into by Marwin in that frame, and now it's Carlos Gomez grounding into the double play. Luis Valbuena is 0 for 1 as he stands in, flied out deep to left field in the second. .268 batting average, and those huge 12 home runs for Valbuena, a guy who hit 25 a year ago. Really can't overstate how important he has been in the winning span for the Astros. Hits it to center fairly well, but not enough, as Martin is back to make the play. And that'll do it. Another inning wasted after a couple of hits to start things. The Astros leave a man. We played 3.5. It is 1-0 Houston. It is Safeco Field, 1-0 the Astros on a George Springer leadoff home run back in the first inning. Astros about hit them 5-2. The Astros have brought plenty of their fans with them here to Seattle. And Doug Fister has the early lead. He'll face 2, 3, 4 here. Seth Smith, Robinson Cano, and Nelson Cruz in the fourth inning. Fister has struck out 3. The Astros have not turned a double play, while Seattle has turned a pair. Smith lined to right field back in the first inning. Mentioned those 11 home runs for Seth Smith. Some big swings for the Mariners as he ended the first half. Hits it down that left field corner area. Jake Marisnick battles to make the play. And the first out here in the fourth.
Yeah, I think the home run numbers for me are surprising for Seattle. Second in the American League with those 132 coming into this ball game. But this place is big. I know it's beautiful weather right now, but I mean, April, May, usually cold, heavy months here. Spacious ballpark.
Feel like the bringing in of the fence in left field has helped this yard a little bit for the hitters?
I do. Especially for the guy that's on deck, Nelson Cruz. Some of those right-handed hitters.
Well, how about Robinson Cano? I don't know if he goes the other way at all, but 21 dingers. Those two guys can really drive it. Of course, I guess you don't have to convince Astros fans about Robinson Cano. Off speed on that Roy Oswalt curveball. Ball and a strike.
Roy loved that slower velocity, big loop and breaking ball. Tough to lay off because you see it for so long.
Cano, one of those guys that keeps the hands back so well. Hooks one foul down the first base side. A couple of guys against the Astros this year. Check out those numbers.
Yeah, those are large.
Factor in the home runs with the batting averages. 19 RBIs for Cano.
Well, I was just going to say, you'd settle giving up solo jacks to these guys, but Robinson Cano is the one guy that does it with guys on base, spraying the ball all over the place, and obviously has the pop to go with it.
You know, I'm sure there are fans who think, well, why don't the Astros change what they're doing? I imagine every time they face him, and I'm talking about 4 times in a game, they're trying to come up with a new game plan. But you get that notion in your head as a hitter that you handle this particular club, and sometimes it's just hard to stop no matter what you do.
We've had guys you've faced and hit extremely well, and I'm sure that the opponent pitcher who knows that same fact has tried to mix it up on you, but for whatever reason, that rhythm, the timing, your ability to see the ball out of the guy's hand. But it's interesting too how you can face a team and do some team-wide damage.
Now ball back up the middle. That semi shift on has Correa in place, and the second out of the inning.
Create memories, have fun, and enjoy a premium experience with an Astros luxury suite at Minute Maid Park. Whether you are treating employees, hosting clients, or celebrating a special occasion, we will create an experience your group is sure to remember. Visit astros.com/suites or call 1-877-9-ASTROS to reserve your luxury suite today.
So the Astros do get Robinson Cano here, second out of the 4th inning. It brings up Nelson Cruz with the bases empty. You can see it's a gorgeous ballpark. Seattle Seahawks play right across the way. So they generate some interest here in downtown Seattle. There's that high sinker right on by the bat of Nelson Cruz. There it is right next door for the Seahawks. That place will rock every now and then. They also will fill it up for some soccer.
I love them some Seahawks in this area. Wow.
Strike at the knees, 1-2 the count.
The kid.
Ken Griffey Jr., huh?
9 days until he gets inducted.
Well, that was inevitable.
It's still mind-boggling that he's not a unanimous decision to the Hall of Fame.
Well, you know those voters, and you know Valbuena. He makes the play. That'll do it. A 1-2, 3, 4th inning, as Doug Fister and company still lead at 1-0 over Seattle. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by H-E-B. No one does more than H-E-B. Plummer, have you taken a ride on that?
I have not. No reason to go to the other side of Puget Sound. Everything's pretty good on this side.
Kind of works, doesn't it?
Yeah. You see some Astro fans floating around enjoying the city.
Enjoying the 1-0 lead. George Springer hit number 20 as he led off the game. 7-8-9 here in the 5th inning. Evan Gattis leads it off, followed by Jake Marisnick and Jason Castro. Gattis grounded out to second as he ended the 2nd inning. See if we can get Evan Gattis started up with the long balls once again. Hits one down the right field side and deep in the corner. It'll one-hop the wall. Evan Gattis heads for second base as he has a leadoff double here in the 5th inning.
We'll have to settle with a double, Ash.
No more triples right now for Evan.
Well, he went into Operation Shutdown as soon as that ball one-hopped that wall. Got him a fastball away. Did a good job of staying down through it. It's a good sign. Anytime you see a big league hitter driving the ball to the opposite field, that is a good sign. Things might be turned around for Evan Gattis.
Jake Marisnick lines one down the left field side. His 2nd hit of the night. That's going to produce a run as Gattis will cross. Back-to-back doubles. And the Astros now double that lead. It's 2-0 in the 5th.
Jake aggressive early. I'm with him. He's sitting fastball early on. Got a guy throwing hard. Why not?
A quiet first half for Jake Marisnick with the bat, but well, if he can light it up here in the 2nd half and help his club continue to gain ground on 500, you got something going on.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece of hitting. Just dropped the head on that one. 4 hits already in this ball game for that lower third of the lineup for the Astros.
Jason Castro had a hit, followed the base hit by Jake Marisnick leading off the 3rd inning. But then things went awry. Springer grounded into a fielder's choice. The Astros had runners at 1st and 3rd, and Marwin Gonzalez grounded into the first of 2 double plays tonight turned by Seattle. They had back-to-back hits, Altuve and Correa, to start the 4th inning, and that same story ensued. Double play was grounded into by Carlos Gomez. Castro takes a strike. Never know what's going to key a club, but we've talked about Valbuena and his contributions. May and June in particular. But where at one time it looked like the Texas Rangers were just out of sight, that was not going to be an issue trying to catch Texas. They're right back in the sights.
Well, you and I both know that they are within range. And as well as the Astros are playing, they have not had to do it against the Rangers yet. For me to be thoroughly convinced that the Astros have a chance to overtake them, they're going to have to play better baseball against those Texas Rangers and beat them.
1-9 against Texas.
That's amazing. That's a large deficit.
And a lot
in
of times when you get into one of those matchups where you're not winning against another club, heartbreaking close losses, really hasn't been the case.
Yeah.
Left-hander James Paxton working with a 2-2 count. Nobody out here in the inning. And a run in. And now 3-2. First base is open. But you know they're not trying to pitch around Jason Castro. George Springer waits on deck. The Astros now with 7 hits on the night. The Mariners just 2. Chopper to first. That'll get a job done. Out number 1, moving into 3rd, Marisnick. So the Astros 90 feet away from taking a 3-0 lead. And that would be nice to pick up here in the 5th.
I tell you what, that was a great at bat by Jason Castro, but this was a better at bat by George Springer leading off this ball game. Fastball down and away. And we all know that George Springer has power to all fields, doesn't have to try to generate that much, just natural ability takes over. And according to Brian McTaggart, the beat writer on MLB.com for the Astros. That was a 10th leadoff home run for the Astros in 2016. And there you see it on the bottom also. And it ties that franchise record from 2001. I expect that number to go up.
Of course, Jose Altuve, a big part of that. What was it, 6 for Altuve and now 4 Springer?
Believe so.
When you lead off ball games 10 times and you're at game number 90 on the season, pretty impressive stuff. Seattle with a meeting at the mound. Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, out there. Infield plays in. George Springer with that assignment. Get that 3rd run home. Chops one. And that off the foot or body of George.
Got a chance. We're going to look at our Lexus defensive ratings. Again, the statistical number on the left is empirical data that Ash has racked up and we use. And the stop, the red light, yellow light, green light are my personal opinion. And a lot that goes into that equation is the strength of arm, accuracy. But I think also for Gary Pettis, when he looks at those, is the speed he has on the bases. And Jake Marisnick right now in a medium-sized fly ball is going to test anybody.
I think with 1 out in Marisnick, it's almost go on just about any fly ball possible, right?
Yeah. No, I completely, yeah. His speed is going to test some outfield arms because you're going to have to be accurate to get a guy like him at home plate.
Springer gets a piece. Has a 1-2 count. You talk Marisnick and George Springer and Jose Altuve. They find a way athletically at the plate sometimes to be able to get in there too.
Yeah. Got to get creative with those slides.
1-2 now on George. And again, big assignment time. 1 for 2 on the night. 2-2 the count. 52 RBIs for George Springer. We know it's possible. Little behind that 100 RBI pace, but boy, he's knocking on the door. And now 3-2 the count.
Great at bat.
If the Astros could become that club that has 2, 3 guys that drive in 100 runs, now you're starting to talk about a team that can play some offensive baseball.
Yeah, you're turning some heads.
Three-2 pitch. Broken back, ground ball to short. They're going to come to the plate, and the tag applied. And the Mariners get a big out at the plate. 6-2 as Iannetta applies that tag. And you knew that Marisnick had to come.
Yes.
That's just one of those plays you're going to challenge.
Yeah, and exactly what Ash is talking about is that you are taught in spring training, and you talk about it, and most managers around the big leagues will attest to the fact that with 1 out, you will try and get into home plate, force that defense to make a play. It's called going on contact.
And like Jeff was talking about, when you've got Marisnick at 3rd base, you've just got to take that chance. So it's a tough 2nd out. Seattle with that infield in paying off. 2 outs, Springer aboard at 1st. And Marwin Gonzalez at the plate. Well, there have been now a couple of innings, maybe 3 already, where you think one more run tacked on in each, and you got yourself a lead that starts to feel a bit comfortable. Marwin hooks it foul down the left side. A.J. Hinch obviously hoping he doesn't have to look back in a negative way at that play at the plate. Otherwise, you just say, look, the Astros are going to play aggressive baseball, and that's part of it. And I think all 29 other clubs would have played that the very same way.
Yeah, you got a 2-run lead. One of your better pitchers in the rotation on the mound. Give it a shot.
Never hurts any less, though, when you have that out at the plate. Marwin with 6 home runs on his first half. $15 doubles, a pair of triples for Marwin. He shoots one to right field. That's in for a knock. Springer digs for third base. The Astros have played some offense here in the inning, but they've only put one run on the board, and now first and third with 2 outs for Altuve.
Well, how many times do you see it? Close play at home plate that we were just talking about, where you're trying to take a chance. Next guy steps up and gets a base hit that would have driven him in. Good old hindsight.
And I imagine George is frustrated at himself getting jammed as he did with the man at third.
And with 2 outs, George off with the swing of the bat, gets into third base easily.
Marwin's now 1 for 3, continues to play good baseball. 2-0 Houston, and a chance for one of those big 2-out RBIs. Altuve would love the knock. As he lays off that pitch down and away. That might be the changeup at 89.
Pulled the string a little bit, didn't he? This might be the only area where Altuve has struggled a little bit. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs, a batting average at 179.
2-0 the count, and moving to second, Marwin. They won't throw that way, so the Astros now with a pair of runners in scoring position and a 2-0 count on Altuve. First base open, but if you're Seattle, do you want to walk Altuve and face Correa? It is a wild pitch. That's a tough dilemma for any opposing manager.
Big time.
Ooh, watch that swing. Now that's a better swing than Jose's been getting last handful of games or so.
We got that first knock out of the way in that second AB. Here he decided to let it eat a little bit.
I imagine a lot of fans thinking, didn't know this guy could swing like that. I don't think Scott Servais wanted to see that kind of a pitch. I think he was looking to try to pitch tough and around Altuve.
Totally agree.
Now they're going to put him on. So, wow, almost a wild pitch. So when you see, after telling your pitcher you don't want the guy to get a good pitch to hit, and you make a mistake, you put one over the plate, it's just time to put him aboard. Here's the fourth one.
And I think, to your point, Scott Servais was in your boat saying, yeah, we're not even going to risk the chance of him making a mistake.
Carlos Correa and what he has done since now, maybe being in that 4 spot.
Let's see. Spray chart brought to you by Ford. In the last month, it's good to see that inside corner lighten up a little bit for Carlos Correa, because pitchers like to come into the kitchen, try and test him a little bit with that swing, and he is obviously more than well equipped to turn that fastball around on that inside corner or that slider.
Try to come in, and Paxton misses down and over the plate. 55 RBIs, and as they used to say all the time, ducks on the pond now for Carlos. That one in the dirt, gets away from the catcher Iannetta, and alertly coming in to score George Springer. So the Astros put another run on the board. They don't do it with 2-out hitting, but they do it with base running from Springer and everybody else moving up.
Pretty good read. That ball didn't exactly kick extremely far away from Iannetta. Slider down in the dirt. Does a good job of blocking it, but you can see with that ball kicking to the third base side, and the anticipation of George Springer is what allowed him to get in there too.
Still 2 runners in scoring position, a 2-1 count. First base is open, and Carlos Gomez waits on deck. That's a big wild pitch. 3-0 Houston. What a spot for a hit now for Correa. In the air and deep left center field. In the gap, up against the wall. That'll produce a pair. Extra bases Correa, and a 5-0 Houston lead on a double by the Astros cleanup man. And Carlos Correa, 57 RBIs now as he stands at second.
Well, about you, but I didn't anticipate that ball getting off the wall.
It didn't look like one of those swings, did it?
Pitched down in the zone and looked like Carlos may have gotten it off the end of the bat, but you can see the extension on the end of that swing, and the ball was driven.
Well, you've played with that guy somewhere along the line that you sit in the dugout and you go, I didn't even think he hit that ball.
Oh yeah, plenty of times. Vladimir Guerrero was that guy for me. Wow.
And now a pitch gets away from Iannetta, trying to get 2 bases. Correa, and he will on the wild pitch. And the Astros on top 6-0 as they've put 5 on the board here in the inning and twice on wild pitches.
That is just pure athleticism taking over the game right there for Carlos Correa. Ball in the dirt, kicks off Iannetta, gets all the way in front of that Astros dugout. You can see what a great secondary by Carlos Correa to extend that lead and advance on the ball in the dirt. But in doing so, it made it that much easier for him to get to home.
Gomez is going to ground out to end the inning, but the Astros send 8 to the plate and 5 score. It's now 6-0 Houston as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Coming in the 5th inning, Carlos Correa, a huge part of that. Let's take a peek at what Correa does on the wild pitch.
I just like the fact that he got a pretty extensive secondary in that situation. With 2 outs, you're trying to score on anything. And I mean anything when you score on a wild pitch.
Doug Fister now in a better spot. That curveball called high. There you go.
And this is on him too. That whole play is right in front of him. You can see Gary Pettis. He turned into a spectator and bought a ticket.
Ball hit sharply but fouled by Seager. Yeah, you're right.
Lacey. God, man.
You worked on her with that play earlier today, right?
You got to get off the stool quicker and play the carom. God. Fundamentals, kids. Like that guy does.
He makes that play?
Oh, you kidding me? No doubt. Eyes closed. Glove hand behind his back. He makes that play.
Look at that scoreboard. 5 runs in the 5th inning.
How
good does that look? You know what I did, and I was hoping you could gain the joy that I just had.
I did. I was actually pretty proud of myself for writing that 5 runs on my scorecard.
Seager puts it on the ground. Altuve drops to a knee and makes the play. First out of the inning. Want to give a special gift for the Astros fan in your life? The Houston Astros commemorative brick paver program gives you the opportunity to have your special message become a permanent part of Minute Maid Park. Visit astros.com/bricks for more information. Get yourself a massage while you're at it.
Is that the new therapy? Heated brick massages.
Just sounds good to me, that's all.
I didn't know they were going to have Shaquille O'Neal promotions for the Astros out front of the stadium there.
Is that what they have? Dae-Ho Lee lines one down the left field side. That's in for extra bases. Maybe. As Marisnick gets it back in, a one-out double for Lee. He's aboard for Adam Lind. Speed is not the great strength of Dae-Ho Lee.
Yeah, but he made a pretty good adjustment from that first at bat to that at bat. He got beat on a fastball inside in that previous at bat. Turns around that elevated fastball. Fister'd like to leave him out there.
Lee 1 for 2 on his night. Adam Lind, a strikeout victim in the second inning, as Doug Fister has picked up 3 this evening. Shift on for Lind. Only Valbuena on the left side. Down to 66 on that curveball. Seattle's starting to draw better. They are 10th of the 15 American League clubs in attendance. Two and one the count. Lind spins away. Mariners won 2 of their final 4 games before the All-Star break, but they've had their woes over the last 43 games, playing just 17 and 26 baseball. Lind drives it high and deep to right, but foul down the line.
It almost makes you wonder if the velocity on the pitch like that is setting up for strikes like that.
Just go ahead and hit it as hard as you want. But
well, and it's so tough. You know how tough it is to stay back long enough on something that's 66, 67 miles an hour. There's our strike zone, brought to you by MD Anderson.
Grounded left side past Valbuena. Lee froze, went back toward the bag, and now heads to third. One out single for Adam Lind, who's 1 for 2. Runners at first and third as Chris Iannetta comes to the plate.
This is the old get off me swing. Fastball. Probably looked about 95 after that big slow breaking ball.
Always brings a smile to your face. Iannetta grounded out to third base leading off the third inning, and now has a string of 0 for 14 running. Also involved in a couple of wild pitches in the top of the inning that, or catcher, always leave you feeling like you're not getting the job done. Ball and a strike on Iannetta.
Tell you what, if you're getting 47-foot, 90-mile-an-hour sliders thrown at you, I'm not going to put that on you, Ash.
No, you did. I felt it.
I give you a lot
I'm
of grief, but
pull
I'm not
this
gonna...
knife out of my back here.
One more twist.
I don't want to twist on the way out. 2 balls and a strike. No, you're right. But it does hurt. As a catcher, you always feel like that's one of your huge assignments. You played with, in my estimation, one of the great ones, Brad Ausmus, just spectacular in that aspect of the game.
He made blocking balls look boring.
He did.
And that's that is an absolutely compliment. I mean, he would just, I'm going to block it. It's going to be 6 inches out in front of me. I'm going to pick it up.
Hit in the air, right center field. Springer shallow to make the catch, tagging and not coming Lee. And there's no way the Mariners could play aggressively there. Dae-Ho Lee simply can't run. Springer can throw. And that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, you need a sac fly to the batting eye to get Dae-Ho Lee in.
Well, George has an impact on the game. As if he hadn't already with that leadoff home run in the first.
Again.
And now Fister, a chance to get out of this fifth inning without anything going up on the board for Seattle. Leonys Martin at the plate. Just 4 Seattle hits tonight to the 9 for the Astros. Martin hitting .242. Waves on the slow curveball. These Mariners 6th in the league in scoring runs. There's that fine job by Castro, and that was perfection. Glove down, head down. Once you do that, there's no flinching involved. And just really what Brad Ausmus perfected. He would do it with one knee down, but kind of a unique style, but great outcome.
Pretty good pitch. Trying to run that sinker back on that inside corner.
This Mariner club doesn't run a lot. They're 14th in the league in stolen bases, but Jeff mentioned 2nd in the league in home runs. And now 3-2. Lind will be in motion at first base. Marwin backs. He'll be right behind Lind. For me, that's an ideal position. You play a little defense and you hold the runner at the same time by being close to the bag. There goes Lind, and that pitch just misses. And that'll load him up. Leadoff spot now. It's Sean O'Malley coming to the plate. His first plate appearance of the night.
First walk of the day for Doug Fister. Just a little bit up in the zone as you see it. But how about Doug Fister? He had his high water mark for walks in a game against these Seattle Mariners this season back on April 25th with 7.
He's actually had a couple of ugly games in that regard, but he manages those games. This one in the dirt, backhand effort by Castro, and it doesn't work. As a run will score, the other runners move up, and the Mariners on the board 6-1 here in the 5th.
Not that you ever want that to happen, but when it does in a 6-1 game, hurts a little bit less. But like Ash said, just trying to go after it with that backhand. Springboard out in front of home plate tonight.
Wild pitch produces the run. .79 pitches now for Fister. So he's in a good spot, but it's a big out to get right here and maintain a large lead. Ball and a strike. Sean O'Malley, just his 82nd plate appearance of the season. Slow curve. Has no answer from O'Malley. Again, the slow curve.
See a little nod from Doug Fister to Jason Castro after that pitch being fouled off from O'Malley. A little bit of a head nod. Gives you an idea of how battery mates can be on the same page together. Still got to execute the pitch.
2-2 now on O'Malley. This is the guy Fister wants to get. Seth Smith waits on deck. But a 3-2 count. There's Seth Smith, and not a guy you really want to face with men on aboard. Not philosophical, it's about execution, as this one is fouled back to the seats.
Understanding the situation too. The next pitch will be 30 in this inning. Like Ash keeps talking about, we want Doug Fisher to go out and get this guy right here. You do not want to load him up for this part of the lineup coming up.
Little check swing, fouling it off. I'm sure Fister very upset with himself. Bringing that wild pitch in the inning, producing a run, but right now a walk to O'Malley would be anything but what he wants. Line drive to left. There's the one you really don't want. It's going to produce 2 runs. Marisnick into second base, but it's cut off. 2-run double as Sean O'Malley picks it up, and it's right back to being a ball game. 6-3 the Astros lead over Seattle.
Well, some quick damage, and both those walks end up scoring. I'm sorry, that one walk. Good piece of hitting by O'Malley, going the other way, not trying to do too much, but he also understood the fact that Doug Fister was going to give him a pitch to hit in that count, and he took advantage of it.
That's the thing about the 3-2 count there. That was, you said a couple of walks, and it almost felt like that because it left O'Malley with no indecision about what was coming his way. So Doug Fister now back in a ball game, 6-3 the lead as Brent Strom guts it out and goes to the mound following that knee surgery.
Slight hitch in that giddy up. Exactly a good shutdown inning for Doug Fister after his team helped him out in the top of this inning, giving him 5 runs.
Michael Feliz now gets loose in the Astros pen. Mariners have a left-hander tossing. Vidal Nuno is the left-hander throwing for Seattle. But a 2-0 count now on Seth Smith, and you certainly don't want to go any further as Robinson Cano waits on deck. Five hits now for the Mariners. 3-0 the count.
All right. It's time to battle back if you're Doug Fister.
Smith, the 7th hitter of the inning for Seattle. And there's Robinson Cano. Not a sight you ever want to see at the plate with men aboard. And there's the 2-out walk. 2nd walk of the inning. And now runners at first and second for Cano.
Two outs, good ground ball pitcher in Doug Fister, but you've got an RBI machine coming to the plate, Robinson Cano.
And a guy who historically has torn up the Astros. Tough spot for Doug Fister. Strike painted at the knees, outside edge.
Yeah, that was beautiful. But Cano's one of those guys, once he's seen it once, he's got a pretty good idea how to get a barrel to it, so it's tough to double up on pitches like that.
Seems to have an answer for everything. Just recently named to his 7th All-Star game. Ooh, that slow curveball comes up with a swing and a miss. 6 All-Star appearances in the last 7 years for Cano. And you maybe don't think of Cano this way generally, but competed in his 4th home run derby.
He's got a home run derby title under his belt.
Yes, he does.
2011 in Arizona.
Among the leaders in hits this year, of course, Altuve leads the league. Closely pursued by Xander Bogaerts of the Boston Red Sox. .367 lifetime for Cano against Houston. Amongst that .367 total figure, 10 home runs, 12 doubles, a triple for Cano against the Astros. And the big swing. AJ knows all the numbers. There's nowhere to go. Nelson Cruz waiting on deck. Cano has not put up big numbers at home this year, though. .284 mark coming in. Now Jason Castro out to the mound.
Seems to be a little bit of concern about O'Malley maybe giving away signs. Either that or Fister and Castro are trying to get on the same page.
A lot of times teams will have multiple sets of signs, and a pitcher might get a little concerned about a man at second, maybe even a catcher, and decide let's move to this set of signs. But when you do change in midstream, a lot of concerns with guys. Oh, and 2 the count. 2 outs here in the 5th inning, a 6-3 Houston lead. Cat and mouse game going on between Fister and Cano. Curveball, broken bat, dribbler to the mound, and Fister wins the war. But for Seattle in the 5th inning, they put 3 on the board. It's now a 6-3 Houston lead. We now go inside the box score, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Here's how the Astros have ranked since May 24th. What do you see there, Blummer? Anything impress you?
Yeah. That one right there, that ERA, lowest in all of baseball since then. That's a beautiful thing. That allows your offense to go out there and relax, score some runs, because you see with the runs scored, almost at 5 being 14th. Need that low ERA to help you win those ball games.
What do you think of that Carlos Correa guy? A pair of RBIs tonight, 57 now on the year.
He's a high ceiling guy.
Would 110 plus RBIs this year please you for your Christmas wish list?
And I was tell you what, it'd please his bank account someday too.
Yeah, it would. We go to the 6th inning, 6-3. 3 runs scoring in that 5th inning overall on wild pitches. Not exactly the way you draw them up on either side. Luis Valbuena leads it off against new pitcher, left-hander Vidal Nuno. Ball and a strike. Luis Valbuena has flied out twice. Robinson Cano adds a ground out for an 0 for 3 tonight for Valbuena. First out here in the inning.
Here's a look at Vidal Nuno's numbers on the season. Just over 1 with that whip. Comes at you with a fastball around 90 miles an hour, change up, curve ball, slider. Pretty good chin strap too.
Driven down the left field side by Gaddis, but hooking it foul. You're into things like the chin strap, right?
Well, Colby Rasmus had the chin curtain there for a while. This is a little bit more of a chin strap from Vidal Nuno.
Hit again, foul down the left field side. Gaddis has them working him inside, and an 0-2 count.
Get that rocket the other way off Paxton, trying to get in the kitchen, tie him up, not let him get extended.
That rocket, a double in the 5th inning. He scored the second Houston run. It was 1-0. Houston going into the 5th inning. The Astros put 5 on the board. Seattle put 3 right behind the Houston 5. One and 2 on Evan. Jake Marisnick waits on deck. Gaddis not biting. Just a .217 batting average for Evan. Off speed. Gaddis comes up empty.
Got himself to pitch to hit with 2 strikes.
Let's check in with Julia once again.
Hey, speaking of Evan Gaddis, guess what's coming? The
Yes.
Evan Gaddis Gnome join the Astros at Minute Maid Park Saturday, July 23rd as they take on the Angels. 10,000 fans receiving the Evan Gaddis Gnome, courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. For more info, visit Astros.com or 1-877-79-ASTROS. You have to have one of those.
Thanks, Julia. Talking about having something at the ballpark. How's the sushi here?
Not as good as Japan.
No. Yeah.
Oh.
You are the only one
okay.
here that can make that kind of an answer, I think.
Gets the job done.
Jake Marisnick, by the way, is 2 for 2 tonight, a single and a double. He's driven in a run. Had that double in the 5-run 5th inning. Yeah, we still like Julia, even if she rubs it in every now and then. One and 2 as Jake takes one very close. It's the 11th meeting of the year between the two clubs. When it's all said and done, they will meet 19 times. A.J. Hinch and Scott Service know the numbers. The Astros have won 6 of the first 10. Nice job by Marisnick. The Astros have simply found a way in some close games They get it done against some teams here recently. Jake stays alive as he fouls it back. And now 3-2.
Pretty good at bat.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, not that I want to sound shocked with Jake up there, but he's been swinging the bat well today. Base hitting that first at bat. Got a double in the second one, but
take strike 3 here. So
too soon.
Marisnick done. Jeff Blum put the whammy on him. A 1-2-3 6th inning. Through 5.5, the Astros with a 6-3 lead. Mariners 6-3. We see our Astros fans in attendance. Let's close out that Stroh poll that Julia brought to us. Which Astro will have the biggest breakout second half? What do you think, Blummer?
I like it. You know, like a couple starts. I believe it was 5 starts going into that All-Star break. He started to pitch extremely well. Had a couple innings bite him a little bit, but I think that last start for me kind of indicates that Dallas Keuchel could have the kind of stuff to turn around that second half. And wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah, I thought it was really a good start for Dallas. I thought it was the most consistent outing where he stayed in zones that you would think, well, that's where he wanted to be. And made mention of that with Dallas before the game tonight. And you know, I even asked him about how he felt about the delay before he makes his first start of the second half. He said, you know, whatever is fine, but he might have preferred just getting right back out there. Doug Fister trying to provide a win in game 1 of the second half, leading 6-3, and now a new pitcher, Michael Feliz, on the hill for the 6th. Feliz facing Nelson Cruz. A 1-1 count on Cruz. A couple of ground outs to third for big slugger for the M's. Good slider. Cruz, Seager, and Dae-Ho Lee here in the inning. High fastball thrown on by, so a strikeout of Cruz. First out of the inning.
A relatively angry heater up in the zone, blown right past Nelson Cruz. You see the numbers on Michael Feliz. That whip right around 1. Pretty solid record coming out of that bullpen. He's pitching a couple extra inning ball games earlier in that second half. Good live arm.
Doug Fister wound up going 5 innings, allowing 3 runs, all earned. A couple of walks, 3 strikeouts on the night, 96 pitches for Doug. Well spotted heater. Ball and a strike on a dangerous hitter, Kyle Seager, who has singled and grounded out. 18 home runs. He's a big part of that power game for Seattle. Jeff Blum mentioned the Mariners second in the league in home runs. Flees has a good over the top slider. Takes quite a bit off of it. And now a 2-2 count. The Astros with a run in the first inning. George Springer led the game off with a home run opposite field style. It remained 1-0 till the fifth inning. The Astros put 5 big runs on the board. Carlos Correa had a 2-run double in that frame. Seager with a base hit to right center field. Springer gets it back in. So Seager aboard as Dae-Ho Lee comes to the plate.
Nothing like some West Coast baseball, huh? It's our late night producer tweeting out. Stephanie Montoya. I thought for sure if you see a late night studio picture, you'd see maybe Kevin and Mike standing having a beverage, or
well, they're laying down on the couch, aren't they?
Or an entire pizza.
Dae-Ho Lee at the plate has struck out and doubled and lines a base hit into left field. Well, Seattle trying to make something happen as they work here in the sixth inning. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Adam Lind comes to the plate.
It's important to note too that Stephanie has no relation to Inigo Montoya.
No, really? So Princess Bride stands alone with its own talent, right?
Yes. Just want to clear that up.
Glad you did, as Brent Strom going to come out and talk with his right-hander, Michael Feliz. Must be something to say, because Brent Strom not going to take many strolls right now following that knee surgery. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really is. Just had that meniscus surgery on that left knee. He said earlier today that nothing's going to keep him from going out there and helping his pitchers out with some of the knowledge that he has.
There's some talk going around about a variety of ways that Stromy would try to communicate with his pitchers. Walking out there and back to the dugout, not among the possibilities.
I thought the idea of having the bullpen coach Bjornson come out from the bullpen for visits would have been entertaining.
He was going to have to do some sprinting, and I'm not sure that was in the program. Tony Sipp gets it loose.
Come out of the bullpen like Todd Coffey used to. Full sprint.
Oh, here we go. 1 out, runners at first and second. Dangerous left-hand hitter Adam Lind at the plate. He's 1 for 2, scored a run. The velocity on this slider from Michael Feliz appears down a little bit for me.
Yeah, I agree. We saw some serious sharpness or crispness to that slider when he was going extremely well.
This is with the heater. It's 2-0. Catcher Chris Iannetta waits on deck, but you don't want to load him up walking Lind. Off the hands, little looper. Correa able to make the play in the air. And that was one of those plays. I'll bet he was spinning some options as he was charging that ball. Do you one-hop that catch, take that chance, and try for the double play?
Well, I tell you what, you short hop that, gun it to third, get Seager. You got all day to get Dae-Ho Lee, who's the trail runner right there. And here, just go on the short hop, fire to third. So everybody's retreating to the bag, anticipating the catch. But again, it's hard to argue when you get outs presented to you not to take them.
And one out you certainly want to get is Chris Iannetta, 0 for 2 on the night, 0 for his last 15. Yeah, I was wondering if Valbuena had the presence to move to the bag. He was that lone infielder on the left side.
Yeah, I would imagine in a first and second situation, third baseman recognizing he is the only one in the vicinity to go cover that bag, he was on his way. But again, I don't think there would have been a real panic to try and turn that double play.
Young shortstop, no doubt, had quite a bit going through his mind on a play that kind of leaves you guessing after the play even. Two and two now on Iannetta.
And in those plays right there, I'm never going to question the player that decides to get the sure out.
No, not a bit. And it wasn't an easy play at all for Carlos. No, he's played a great shortstop. He's had a few throws get away, but he's gotten to balls. Fastball got him swinging. So they get the big out of Iannetta, leave a pair on base. We played 6 innings as Michael Feliz gets through the frame. 6-3 Houston. Go. It'll be 9-1-2 coming up for the Astros. Jason Castro leads it off as the left-hander stays on. Vidal Nuno. I've seen a number of Astros fans on hand here tonight. Five games back of Texas are the Astros. Month and a half ago, I don't think anybody would have given that a chance. Castro hits one through the right side with that shift on. Basically hits it straight up second base for the base hit. His second of the night. 2 for 3 as he's aboard. And now the top of the order, George Springer stands in. $29,217 on hand tonight. Scott Service goes to the mound. Looks like the Mariners go to the bullpen for big right-hander Tom Wilhelmsen, as Nuno is done with his work. There's Wilhelmsen. So with the Astros leading, it's 6-3 here in the 7th inning. The Mariners go to the bullpen to face George Springer and the top of the order. We will be right back.
Minute Maid Park provides elegant event spaces and high-end entertainment in one of Houston's most iconic sporting venues. Learn more about how you can have your event at Minute Maid Park by calling 713-259-8800 or by visiting astros.com/special events. Welcome you back to Seattle. And speaking of special events, we want to wish a very happy birthday to Safeco Field. It opened on this date back in 1999. I'm at the home plate entry right now, and over my shoulder you see the chandelier made of baseball bats, one of the many features that has stuck around since this place opened back in '99. But a lot has changed over the years. However, the players still absolutely love coming here. I know a lot of the Astros do, and we enjoy it as well, guys.
And a big thanks, Julia. George Springer stands in. Tom Wilhelmsen on the hill. And a 1-0 count on George. Castro held on down at first base. Swing and a miss by Springer, who now has 20 home runs to lead the Astros. And that ties a career high. Had fewer at bats the previous time, getting to 20. But how high can George go this year? Curveball tries to find its way back to the strike zone. Called a ball. It's 2-1. Ken Giles gets it loose for the Astros in the pen. Two and two now on George. I'm being told, Blummer, to refer to the Rangers as Arlington from now on. Why is that?
You tell me.
I don't have an answer for you. Since their name's the Texas Rangers, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
3-2 now. You have the guts with Springer at the plate on the 3-2 to send Castro. What was that injury on?
Ketel Marte was a right ankle.
I wondered the way he was hobbling off. You had mentioned the groin area, certainly a possibility. I was kind of wondering if it could have been the knee.
Now we know.
There goes Castro. We know on that one too, a strikeout, a throw down, and they've got him the double play. Third turn by the Mariners tonight. to strike him out, throw him out. There goes the threat with the leadoff single. With the bases empty, 2 outs, Marwin Gonzalez comes to the plate. Four strikeouts of Astros hitters. Oh, 0-1 the count on Marwin Gonzalez, who is 1 for 3 on the night. Tries to bunt the off-speed pitch, waves through it. They say no down at third base. Wow.
Okay. Alan Porter, the third base coach.
Yeah, maybe he did pull it back. What?
I don't know. From our vantage point up here, I was watching on the field, and it looked like a pretty good effort to try and bunt that ball.
Could be a reason why they don't put umpires up here.
Yeah, they'd be terrible if they said have to talk.
This one's rammed deep to right. You can forget it early. Marwin Gonzalez hits his 7th of the year. And the Astros put a run on the board despite the double play. Marwin's going to break it down around second base, and that ball was crushed.
Yeah, that ball was kissed. Marwin tries to lay one down the pitch prior. Maybe setting him in, draw him in, and hit it way over their heads. Oh, it's deep in that right field bleacher.
Well, he breaks it out every now and then, and more than every now and then against Seattle.
Yeah, he knew it.
That's his 10th career home runs against Seattle. As Altuve stands in, 1 for 2. He's also been walked intentionally and scored a run. And getting better swings tonight, but Marwin's talking about a pretty good swing himself. Ball and a strike on Jose. You were at the All-Star game, Blummer. A lot of people talking about who's the MVP in the American League. Who did you find the consensus was about?
Almost to a man and woman loved Altuve as that MVP at the midseason point. Loved that he was driving the ball all over the ballpark. They love the fact that he's up that on-base percentage also by laying off and not chasing as many pitches out of the zone. His ability to get those clutch hits. He has over 50 RBIs. But also having that high average, high RBI, the slugging percentage is up too. It's just amazing that this guy is able to continue to improve. And I think a lot of people are starting to appreciate that around the country. He's getting the recognition because he is in these all-star games. But his name is constantly in the box score with a hit or a run scored or some kind of effect on the outcome of the game. And he's also playing a stellar second base.
Backs away and takes a strike. It's 3-2. Yeah, that intentional walk tonight, the 42nd free pass of the year. It's all added up to an on-base percentage of well over 400. Starts tonight at 413. He is slugged .542. Hits one in the air to center field, fairly deep. But Martin, back near the track, makes the catch. That'll do it for the Astros. They put a run on the board with 2 outs and nobody aboard on the home run number 7 on the year by Marwin Gonzalez. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Whataburger. Get your day started at Whataburger with the jalapeno cheese or make that cheddar biscuit. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Astros are riding along pretty well, leading at 7-3 over Seattle. First of three from the Emerald City. Marwin Gonzalez has tacked on a home run. George Springer started the game with one. So the home run ball, part of what the Astros are doing tonight. And now pitcher number 3, Ken Giles on the hill. Giles works in the 7th inning to the 9-1-2 spots for the Mariners and brings a strike. Leonys Martin is 0 for 1. He's also drawn a walk and scored a run. That was the 3rd of the night for Seattle. There are a number of sources out there that say the Astros have signed a Cuban young player, and well, not all that young, but a guy who has played very well, Yulieski Gurriel. No confirmation from the Astros, but that would be we presume, a big signing if that does get confirmed.
Tell you what, he's gotten a lot of praise from a lot of media sources and a lot of scouting departments. He has played third base, second base, shortstop, and even center field.
I say he's not that young a guy, 32 years of age, but apparently a guy that has a lot of credentials that come along with him.
Be interesting to see how he will mix into the situation. It's going to take him a little while to get in baseball shape. But again, when you sign a Cuban national player, there are a lot of issues, whether it be visas and things like that, to become eligible to work and play here in America. He's also got to pass a physical too to get to that point. So if those rumors and speculation are true, as soon as he passes all those tests, he will be announced.
Swing and a miss on the heater at 97. Strikeout of Martin to start the 7th. One down, top of the order. Sean O'Malley will stand in. Guy who in his only at bat of the night had a big double, driving in a run in the 5th inning.
But Gurriel is a right-handed hitter. Does he platoon at third base? Does he rove around the infield, giving guys days off?
And again, no confirmation as of yet from the Astros. So we'll wait on that story. But as the story goes, Gurriel had workouts not only with the Astros, but the Dodgers, Giants, Mets, Padres, and Yankees. Those coming over the past month. And that's a big step up if that is what has taken place.
It's really get a chance to look at some of those numbers that have been posted on him. Some interesting numbers that I found. There was, I believe he had 224 plate appearances recently. He had 38 walks, 15 home runs, 3 strikeouts. It's a pretty good contact rate.
Yeah, I would guess. Well, here's one of the things that you and I had heard is that when you start making the comparison with a guy like Yoenis Cespedes, for example, that Gurriel, apparently for some of the eyes that saw him, they liked him best.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying something right there, because Yoenis has come over here and left a substantial mark in offensive numbers.
It's a walk to O'Malley. He's aboard with 1 out. And now Seth Smith stands in.
But of course, when we bring up Gurriel being signed possibly by the Houston Astros, everybody's initial reaction is, what about Bregman, who had an incredible futures game with 3 hits, almost hit for the cycle, and it is proven to be a pretty pure hitter. And you can speculate all you want, but I know that everybody in the Astros organization is pretty happy with the abundance of talent that they do have and going out and getting these guys and having them in their system.
Smith starts the bat early, waves through one. It's 0-1. Well, the bottom line is, if you get talent, you'll find a way to get those guys in the lineup, right?
Indeed.
Jason Castro, just a backhanded effort while standing up on a changeup in the dirt.
It's a pretty gutsy call by Jeff Kellogg back there. I'm surprised he didn't check.
We're going to have your eyes checked, Plummer. High fastball finds Castro just kind of leaping at it.
Nonetheless, good problems for the Astros to have.
Yeah, and again, we await confirmation, so we'll see how that all plays out, but kind of exciting news. We're in the 7th inning, 7-3 Astros. A lot of people have talked about maybe a need to add some pitching. Really haven't heard anything that feels like you can sink your teeth into at this point. Off speed for the strike. It's 1-2.
Well, I think a lot of teams, not just the Astros, if you're looking around the league, what guys are out there that are you can actually, risk giving away some of your higher prospects to get back that will upgrade your rotation or your bullpen. I think that's the issue this day and age, is there's not many options out there to go out and get. But if you have an idea of going out and getting taking a chance on a Chris Archer out in Tampa Bay, you're going to have to give something up.
There's another half swing going through, so Smith down on strikes. Not really getting a good hack at all in that AB. 2 outs, a couple of strikeouts for Giles.
Those were not good looking swings from Seth Smith. Pretty good hitter in his own right. Gives you an idea how Giles' slider affects hitters.
And now Robinson Cano stands in. Came up in a big spot in the 5th inning and weakly grounded back to the mound. Doug Fister started, worked 5 tonight. And there's another one of the big guys, AJ Reed. And you start adding more talent. Where do guys fit in? What a play! Correa gets up and able to throw out Cano. And I don't know how Correa comes up with this play. Unbelievable. That'll do it for Seattle. And just take a peek. (7-3) Houston. coming up this inning, but defensively, unbelievable what he does here.
Say off the bat, it looked like that ball was going to go up the middle right over the bag, but with that kind of inside out swing from Robinson Cano, it created a pretty good amount of spin going back across the body of Carlos Correa, but that's a pure athletic ability allowing him to catch that ball right there.
Yeah, we've watched Carlos Correa make a lot of great plays, a lot of routine plays, and those are the ones that really have to be made. But he is turning into, well, just one of the big run producers right now, playing a great shortstop along with it. I think it's everything that everybody was hoping that he was going to be able to do in his second season in the major leagues. Seattle with a new right-hander on. Nate Carnes is that righty. Outside edge. It's 0-2 now on Correa. Breaking ball somehow misses. Wow. Sometimes with nobody on base, Carlos becomes kind of passive, and
that was a filthy breaking ball, locked everybody up, including home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg.
All ball in the strike zone. Carlos gets a little more aggressive here, fouls it off.
Yeah, you may get away with it once, you're not going to get away with it a second time. Wow.
We mentioned that Texas Rangers beaten earlier today in Chicago, 6-0 by the Cubs. The Astros picking up a half a game. They're 5 games back. These Mariners 8 games back at the moment, but the Astros trying to make it 7 of 11 as Chris Davinsky now gets loose. Luke Gregerson has also been throwing in the pen. Curveball grounded to short. O'Malley with the play. First out of the inning. The numbers on Nathan Carnes. Originally drafted by the Astros in 06. Didn't sign then. But he's made, as you can see, a few starts for Seattle. In that Rangers loss today, Martin Perez took the loss as Kyle Kendricks wins it, his 8th on the year for the Cubbies. Carlos Gomez has an 0 for 3 night going. Chicago Cubs 54-35 with the victory. Trying to get back to 20 games over 500.
Man, I almost had that one.
Did you lean over?
Nope.
You didn't even try, did you?
I didn't.
Cubs, by the way, start the day with a 7-game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. Half swing did he go through. They appeal. Palms down at first base. Haven't mentioned the umpires tonight. Jeff Kellogg behind the plate. Brian O'Nora, Ryan Blakeney, and Alan Porter are the umpires. Want to be a catcher, huh?
Nope. Just another reason on a long list.
3-2 now on Carlos Gomez. 1 out in the 8th inning.
Good grief. Just go ahead and take that. Lower part of your jaw. Hope he didn't sublux it.
Told you there were reasons for my behavior. Got him on the curveball. Gomez down on strikes. 2 outs in the 8th. It'll bring up Luis Valbuena. Valbuena 0 for 3 on his night. Sitting on 12 home runs. For Luis, hitting .266 now. In the American League, the Boston Red Sox win over the Yankees 5-3. The Angels are hosting the White Sox now in the bottom of the 8th inning. Angels lead at 7-0. Detroit a winner over visiting KC. 4-2 the final there. Toronto Blue Jays are hooked up at Oakland with the A's 7-7 in the 7th. Baltimore traveling in Tampa Bay 4-3. They down the Rays. And Cleveland a winner at Minnesota 5-2. Curveball tapped back to the mound. Carnes with the play and a 1-2-3 8th inning. The Astros go down quietly, but as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, it's Houston on top 7-3.
Over the Mariners, and we've got a pitching performance. It's going to be brought to you by Kubota. Lance McCullers, last time he was out there wearing that fancy lid, did a great job against these Seattle Mariners. 4th of July fireworks coming out of that right arm fastball curveball combination. 7 innings, 10 punchies, and a great number next to that. That 1 walk. Excellent stuff. Kid is turning into a true performer in that Astros rotation.
Don't know how much of that game you saw, but his slider was unhittable all night long. And now it's Luke Gregerson working in the 8th inning, facing Nelson Cruz, the cleanup man. For the Astros, it's been Fister, Feliz, and Giles. As Correa makes the play, first out here in the inning. Over the next few days, Lance McCullers and Colin McHugh go against Seattle. Mike Fiers and Dallas Keuchel as the Astros move on to Oakland.
Given Dallas Keuchel a little more rest, I would have thought he would have been in that Monday situation, but Mike Fiers with those 3 right-handers going in a row. Dallas Keuchel set for that Tuesday start in Oakland, which will be a 4-game series.
Dallas has to feel like things are moving in his direction. Kyle Seager at the plate has a couple of hits and 3 at-bats. Both of those hits singles tonight. There's Dallas. He's given us a little beard. Just doesn't seem like a fun summer proposition.
Not in Houston.
Here now, that would work just fine.
Maybe there's some miraculous effort by that beard to distract the humidity away from his chin.
How long did you think on that one?
About 3 seconds.
There's Dallas. I don't know if that means he's in agreement with what you said.
Or he's just laughing at the hypothesis.
You know, when you start winning, that's what it feels like in the dugout, isn't it?
Oh, man. Even you'd be funny if we had a winning streak.
Nice. Slider grounded right side. Altuve with the easy play. And the second out of the inning.
Just glad to see that life put back in that dugout, because that first month and a half, we did not see Club Astro at all.
You know, it can look like you're not even focusing, but I really believe when you're in that mode where you're just having a great time, that's when you play your best ball.
Yeah.
Dae-Ho Lee stands in. He has doubled and singled in 3 at-bats. Struck out back in the second inning against Doug Fister. Good slider. In the National League, Colorado 11-2 winner over Atlanta. Washington tops Pittsburgh 5-1, while Miami is a 7-6 winner at St. Louis. Down the right field side, slicing to the seats. 0-2 the count on Lee. Mets win at Philadelphia 5-3. The Dodgers are laying it on Arizona 12-7. That in the desert. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cincinnati hosting Milwaukee, and the Reds win 5-4. Top of the 7th inning in San Diego. Pods on top of the Giants 4-1. Oh, and 2 the count on Dae-Ho Lee. Slider just missing. Dae-Ho Lee, or Pig Tiger as you may prefer to call him, played most of his career in Korea, a couple of years in Japan. Put up some massive numbers. What's that say?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, I see. On our honeymoon.
That's love.
Might help there. "15 seasons played by Lee in combination of Korea and Japan."
Nothing says true love like going to check out a Pig Tiger on your honeymoon.
I'd have to agree with that. Tiger stays alive. In those years playing in Korea and Japan, a combination total of 323 home runs.
Wow.
And the slider gets him. Pitch in the dirt. Castro will be forced to throw on down to first base. And that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning turned in by Luke Gregerson. We played 8. Astros lead over the Mariners 7-3.
Game here against the Mariners. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Homers for Houston shows the Astros home run leaders after the break. Last season, 2015, it was Carlos Correa who burst onto that scene. Decided to go out there and lead that ball club with 15 home runs. Colby Rasmussen 14. Evan Gattis 12.
Well, we go to the 9th inning. Evan Gattis leads it off, takes a strike. Nathan Karns still on the hill for Seattle. Gattis 1 for 3 on the night with a double. He scored a run. Puts it in the air to right center. Easy play for Nelson Cruz. First out of the inning. Right-hander Chris Davinsky gets it loose in that Astros pen. You keep in mind it is not a save situation with that 7-3 lead. How about the work of Will Harris in the All-Star game? A big strikeout with the bases loaded, and that ultimately enabled the American League to win another one. They just keep on piling on the wins. Jake Marisnick grounds out. That's the second out of the inning, and Jason Castro comes to the plate. Castro having a nice night as he starts the second half. 2 for 3. Was caught stealing part of a strike him out, throw him out double play that came in the 7th inning. Seattle turning 3 double plays tonight and still trailing. With the 2 hits tonight, Castro hitting .217. There's a good hack as he swings through it.
It's good to see Castro with 2 knocks. Did a good job in his second at bat too. Hitting a ground ball that moved George Springer up. Led to that big inning. 5th inning when the Astros scored 5.
1-2 the count on Jason. Following tonight's game, 72 to play. Two and two the count. And the fastball thrown by. 94 miles an hour from Carnes. Strikeout of Castro, 1-2-3 9th inning. But going to the bottom of the 9th here in the Emerald City, the Astros lead over the Mariners 7-3.
And they're hoping to start out the second half of the season with a win over the Mariners, feeling really good about the way they were playing there at the end of the first half. AJ Hinch talking today about the break and what it can do for guys. A good chance for everyone to reflect really on what they were doing in that first half, things that could get better from this point on in the season. He said the staff, the team pretty much talked about individual goals for guys, as well as, you know, are they getting the most out of their batting order or the rotation? Are guys getting enough days off? All these things are some of the things that were talked about in meetings held over the All-Star break or even today. And it's a continual assessment for this group as they continue to look for the playoff push that they're hoping to be at the end of this season. But for all of these guys, a much needed few days off with their families, doing various different things, but a good chance for them to get away and then regroup here to start the second half, guys.
Not a bad way to regroup, trying to win that first game. 7-3 lead as Chris Davinsky comes on now for the 9th inning. Facing Adam Lind to start things and brings a strike. Pfister, Feliz, Giles, Gregerson, and now Davinsky. Pfister in a position to pick up the W tonight. Worked just 5 innings. But the 3 runs coming in the 5th inning against Doug. Oh, and 2 the count on Adam Lind. 1 for 3 on his night with a strikeout. It's the bottom 3 in the order for Seattle: Lind, Iannetta, and Martin.
Good velocity on that fastball. 95 from Chris Davinsky.
We saw a little bit of that early on in the season. The toll starts, or all the work starts to take its toll, but yeah, bringing it back
makes that change that much more effective.
And there is the changeup, but missing in the dirt.
It's going to leave a mark on Castro, though.
2-2 the count. Is Brent Strom ever pleased?
He would never admit to it. I think he can be a little bit happy with what his pitching staff has done here in recent months.
Yeah, we've talked about they are the best in baseball over. It's the period you go back to the winning streak beginning on May 24th, actually. 23rd was a day off. Baltimore came to town, and the Astros took care of business against the Orioles. And the pitching has been such a big part of that.
It was a record-setting weekend as far as, or 3-game series as far as strikeouts were concerned. They absolutely blew the doors off the Baltimore Orioles.
The Orioles a first place club, but didn't look like it in that series.
Yeah, they showed some weaknesses and an ability to swing and miss.
Lind again fouls it off. The count stays at 1-2. Baltimore with a 2-game lead over Boston and over Toronto. The Yankees 7.5 back. Some people talking about the Yankees in jeopardy of playing under 500 this year for the first time in a long, long time. Off speed, Lind down on strikes. Tag applied by Castro, and the first out here in the inning.
Pretty good slider from Davinsky. Just buried that down and in.
9 strikeouts for Houston pitching. The Astros in quest of their 49th victory. If they pick it up, 8 games over 500 would be their high water mark. Iannetta continues his struggles, 0 for 3 on the night. Has an 0-2 count. Yeah, it's also hard to overstate how valuable Chris Davinsky has been out of that pen. To the count. At the knees, got him looking. So Iannetta caught looking. 10 strikeouts now for the Astros staff, and with 2 outs, it's down to Leonys Martin. One out away from victory number 49. Little looper is going to drop in left field in front of Jake Marisnick. So a 2-out single brings back the top of the order, and Sean O'Malley. The Astros have gotten home runs tonight from George Springer and Marwin Gonzalez, numbers 1 and 2 in the order for the Astros. Carlos Correa, a pair of RBIs. The other ribbies picked up by Springer, Marwin Gonzalez, and Jake Marisnick. Wild pitches scoring a couple of runs tonight. One of those, Correa from second base. Ball and a strike. O'Malley came in after Ketel Marte hurt himself. He has doubled in a pair of runs in the 5th inning and drawn a walk. The changeup, slow ground ball. Altuve with the play, and he'll get his man as his man O'Malley takes a dive beyond the bag, but that's going to do it. The Astros come into Seattle, win the first of 3, and now 7 of 11 between the two ball clubs. Astros looking good as they pick up win number 49 on the year, and they're just 4.5 games back of the Texas Rangers. 7-3 victory tonight for the Houston Astros.